Hey everyone, this is Christopher Luxon, the former CEO of Air New Zealand.
This is John Lee Dumas, the founder and host of Entrepreneurs on Fire.
This is Tracy Ibarra. I'm in Executive Solutions at Dell Technologies.
This is Travis Chappell, founder of Build Your Network. If you are wanting to learn how to embrace change,
To navigate through disruption as a leader,
then listen to the Leadership is Changing podcast.
The Leadership is Changing podcast.
the Leadership is Changing podcast with my good friend,
my very good friend, Denis.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas.
Hey, welcome to the show, Leadership is Changing. What we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Leaders everywhere confront similar obstacles because people are people, but everywhere you go, leaders are overwhelmed, disrupted, and under pressure. They run from email to email, meeting to meeting. Many leaders are not changing quick enough, which means they run the risk of becoming irrelevant and being left behind. The purpose of the show is taking our listeners' leadership to another level by finding their balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. I believe we don't have enough effective leaders in the world today, and if we can get the leaders to step up and lead change, then they can inspire real change. Hey listeners, it's now time to adapt in our fast-moving world, and I want to welcome you to today's Ask Denis episode, which is a freestyle episode that happens once a week. I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts and insights and experiences from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey team, if you haven't already checked out the Facebook group or the LinkedIn page, Leadership is Changing, come along to those two different platforms. We would love to see you there and really enjoy the people that we have part of those different communities for sure. Hey, I'm really going to encourage you to share this episode with 3 other people. And today's episode is 5 ways to stay focused on success. To succeed in life and business or your career, you have to do your best at all times, but sometimes staying dedicated and focused becomes a little bit difficult. Now, this is not a sign of you failing, or in fact, it's the opposite. Feeling demotivated along the way, whether you're because you're really tired or there's certain setbacks, it's going to happen, team. It's inevitable, right? That's what does happen. And at times you will need a little boost. So here are 5 ways for you to stay focused and dedicated in helping you focus on that success. Number 1, set goals and become a goal achiever. Setting goals gives you the motivation and also vision. You see, it's amazing what happens when you set a goal. In fact, goal setting helps you to organize your thoughts, your resources, your time, so then you can make the most out of any situation. When you write down your goals, and in particular with a pen and a piece of paper, or as I say to people, with a book, according to a whole range of different research, writing them down by hand engages our brain more effectively. Yes, sure, you can go back and reflect on the notes, on what you've written in the past, go back and look at those and reflect on them, for sure. But what it does, more importantly, it actually gets the brain more activated. Typing them in other words, using a phone, a tablet, or a PC, doesn't really involve much mental connection. This is why I always say to leaders to take notes. Why? Because A, gets the brain activated, helps with the learning process, helps you go back and review it later on, and there could be a quote, a story, a saying, a war story, something that somebody says that could be life-changing for you, your team, or your organization. So my question to you on this part is, are you taking notes while listening to this episode? Are you taking notes when you listen to anyone else speak? I'm going to encourage you to do that for sure, team. Okay, number 1 is set goals and become a goal achiever. Number 2, break down your goals into small bite sizes. One thing that really tends to stress a lot of people out is that it comes from the feeling that you've got a huge number of things to do. You're overwhelmed and there's a lot to be done. So if you try to do the whole project at once, you're going to really feel overwhelmed, as I said. Have you ever heard of the story or the analogy of spinning too many plates? It's about whereby you have these big long sticks and you have a plate on top and they can spin on top. And then you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, several more sticks and a few more sticks and so forth. But then when you get too many sticks to look at and focus on, others will start to wobble. And you'll get a stage whereby there's too many and none of the plates will stay on the stick and spin. They'll all start to wobble and they'll all start to fall off. And this is what also the same with our goals. When we're taking on too much stuff, setting too many goals, we run the risk of actually achieving zero. So to avoid this, what I think you should do is actually break down your goals into some realistic steps and then focus on completing each one of them. Now, being successful in doing that, and each step triggers the reward center of the brain, which releases a chemical known as a feel-good kind of chemical called dopamine. And this makes you feel more motivated and inspires you to take more steps. This is why we say to people, when you go out for a walk or you do some exercise, you go out to the gym and things like that, or you make your bed in the morning, that's where you're starting to see that you already are actually achieving something and it gives you that dopamine fix. Number 1, set goals and become a goal achiever. Number 2, break down your goals into small bite sizes. Number 3, engage with a support network or an accountability group. Now, what do I mean by this? Create a group of people who can help you stay on track and hold you accountable. Now, these people can be your family, your friends, your colleagues, and they're the people who can support you, guide you, and challenge you in a good way to be there for you. There are people that you can also reach out to when you're not feeling demotivated or when you want somebody just to listen or you want to share an idea with somebody. So my question to you here, team, is do you have an accountability partner or group? I have someone that I contact on a regular basis and he contacts me. And what we do is we tend to talk about what we're doing and how things are going and how we're feeling, and we help motivate each other. We're there to support each other. And at times he's either off to go and do a big project or a big piece of work, or I'm about to do the same thing. And we'll just do a prayer for each other and just say that we're there for each other and know that you're going to be out there and doing your best and making things happen. So it's really important that you do that, team, for sure. So number 1, just to recap, set your goals and become a goal achiever. Number 2, break down your goals into smaller bite sizes. Number 3, engage with a support network, an accountability partner or group. Here's number 4, exercise. You've heard me before say get match fit. Any form of exercise, from doing yoga, Pilates, through to aerobics, those kind of things can elevate your heart rate, your mood, and that feel-good chemical that I talked about before in the brain. Exercising can also act as a type of meditation whereby it's actually getting you to focus on a particular task. In fact, there are people who are known as active relaxers. So you know people who might be in an office job or out doing other things during the day, but love to come home and cook dinner because that's the way they relax. They're an active relaxer. So exercising and things like that act as a type of meditation, focusing on your mind onto a particular task, which is going to help lower your stress. You know, if you take all of these elements here, team, and combine and produce motivation, then there's one thing that's going to happen for sure. It's going to help your confidence. And if you're feeling more confident, you're going to go out and do more things. Let's recap again. Number 1, setting goals and becoming a goal achiever. Number 2, breaking down your goals into small bite sizes. Number 3, engage with a support network, an accountability partner or group. And number 4, exercise, get match fit. Here's number 5 for you. This is the final of those 5 ways to help you stay focused on success, and that it is to reward yourself. Oh, this is a biggie. So many people that I know of, they work really hard, but they don't take time out to take stock and to celebrate any wins. And when you get expected results or you do something and achieve something, you need to reward yourself in some way. For some tasks, taking a few minutes break or going out and treating yourself to a dessert or a cup of coffee somewhere or go out and meet somebody. For bigger goals or projects or tasks, you can reward yourself by doing something enjoyable like going on a vacation or going to the cinema or even buying yourself something as well. The thing here is that we know that psychologically you need to look after yourself by actually rewarding yourself and achieving things. Why? Because the next time you go to set a goal and you haven't rewarded yourself, the subconscious and the mind's going to start thinking about, why should I do all this hard work when you're not going to reward? And so I always encourage people that I work with to think about something small, something big, something that they would like to reward themselves with, and maybe even their teams and so forth. So team, I'm going to really encourage you to think about how you can reward yourself. And for those of you that lead teams or organizations, I'm going to ask you to and challenge you to start thinking about how can you reward your staff, your employees, your managers, your leaders, and so forth. How can you reward them on certain things that they're doing? So team, let's just do a big recap here. To succeed in life, business, or your career, you have to do your best at all times, but sometimes you're not going to feel, you might feel a bit down or you're not sure, but to help you stay dedicated and focused is to actually stay focused on those 5 things I talked about. Number 1, set goals and become a goal achiever. Number 2, break down your goals into small bite sizes. Number 3, engage with the support network, an accountability partner or group. Number 4, exercise, get match fit. And number 5, remember to reward yourself. It's really important that we do think about all these 5 things and we do something with them. It's only 5, but these are 5 important things for you to stay focused on success. Most people that I know that are very successful in life and business and so forth in their careers do focus on these things here. They don't go and focus on 50,000 things, team. They focus on 3 to 5 things that they can do, but they do them very well. I'm going to say to you as well, keep it simple. You don't need to overcomplicate things. If we keep it simple, stay focused, and stay consistent, it'd be amazing what you can achieve. Now, I've been approached by people of late for me to coach them and work with them in relation to where they want to go in their careers, what businesses they might want to go and start. And so for some of them is to help their executive presence increase and become a better leader and stronger leader and a more effective leader. And for some, it's to help them with their voice, the voice of impact, helping them raise their voice for them to be heard, but to come across in a way that's got impact, but also can actually resonate with people as well. And so team, if that's you that I'm talking to as well, feel free to reach out to me on a social media messenger or LinkedIn message, wherever you can, on a private message. Send me a message or an email, denis@leadingchangepartners.com, and let's have a chat about what you're looking at trying to do and where you want to go and so forth. And let's talk about how I might be able to help you do that for sure. Hey team, if you haven't already checked out the Facebook group or the LinkedIn page, Leadership is Changing, I'd love to see you there on those different platforms. And I'm going to talk about it in a minute, but I think that if you can put a review and a rating on the show, that will really help the show for sure. And very excited. I've gone ahead and ordered masks and t-shirts. They are on their way, and I'm very excited about them coming through and can't wait to show people on the different platforms and on the Facebook group or the LinkedIn page and seeing whether you like them. All right, team, what we as leaders know to be true is that change is constant. Change is incredibly scary, especially the unknown and the unfamiliar territory. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing. Hey, look out for the episodes. Download them, have a listen, put a review and a rating. Feel free to share them with your family, your friends, your network. If there's any feedback you'd like to give me on the show, or if there's any questions you've got for my guests as I interview them, or if you have a question for the Ask Denis Freestyle episode, which happens once a week, then feel free to send me an email, denis@leadingchangepartners.com. Hey team, it's always great being with you. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Giannoutsas. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.